Ben Affleck is an accountant who's great at filing taxes and kicking ass. Hey there guys, how are you? I assure you, this shirt was just a coincidence.
Imagine the secrets this guy has. What are you doing here?
Who are you?
Now, based on the title, you might have guessed it, Ben Affleck plays an accountant, but he has a very special skill set. He has hand-to-hand combat skills like Batman and can crunch numbers like Rain Man. And the most intriguing aspect about his character is he has high-functioning autism. And I thought that added a really interesting dynamic to his character, and here's why. Now, there are times in this movie where that's debilitating to his character, but there's other times without it, he wouldn't be who he is. His character can focus in, and he's relentless at getting the job done. My light just went out. And in this movie, when Ben Affleck's character starts something, he stops at nothing until it's done. And when I stopped to think about it, it reminded me of another character Ben Affleck once played, and that's Daredevil. Now, say what you will about that Daredevil movie, and I'll just say it sort of sucked. Yeah, if you want Daredevil, just go to Netflix. That's the best incarnation of Daredevil you will ever get. Now, my point is, Daredevil and the accountant have a lot of similarities. And since Ben Affleck was in both movies, the comparison's hard to miss. For example, you have the character Daredevil, and his inability is he is blind. And what does that do? It heightens his other senses. That way he can kick some ass. And that's more or less what you have going on with Ben Affleck's character in this movie. And very quickly, I have one more comparison, so here it goes. The character Daredevil's senses are so heightened that he has to sleep in a deprivation chamber at night. And in the film The Accountant, Ben Affleck is so focused throughout the day, when he comes home, the only way he can truly unwind is he has to turn on a strobe light, listen to heavy metal music, and he hits himself in the shins with a wooden pole. That's essentially what I do at night, except without the wooden pole. And I really like those character traits because it gave the character depth and substance and something to latch onto as a viewer. Now, with all this Daredevil talk, this movie, at the end of the day, almost feels like it could have been the origin stories of a comic book character, but set in a very gritty, realistic setting. For me, here's what the movie felt like. It felt like director Gavin O'Connor took a comic book movie and camouflaged it within a normal thriller movie, and you really couldn't tell the difference. I really enjoyed that. Now, do I think that was intentional by director Gavin O'Connor? I'm not quite sure, but the influences behind Daredevil, The Punisher, it's hard not to say that he took some of those as inspiration for this movie. And real quick, speaking of Gavin O'Connor, who directed this film, he also directed another one of my favorite movies, Warrior, starring Tom Hardy. And a quick backstory about myself, that was one of the most motivating factors for myself going to the gym and starting to work out. Yeah, Tom Hardy's traps. Just look at those things. Now, as far as the marketing and trailers for this movie go, those trailers don't really represent what this movie is. Because The Accountant has a lot of different things going for it. It's an action, thriller, drama, it has all these different things, but the trailers don't really capitalize on that whole action element, or at least for me they did. So all I'm saying is the movie's way more badass than the trailers let on. And it doesn't come across like an over-the-top, bloated action movie. It feels realistic. It feels like things happening in this movie could really happen. And the movie also stars J.K. Simmons, and this man can do no wrong. But with that said, it brings up a few of my complaints with this movie, and J.K. Simmons' character in this film, who plays an FBI director, his only reason for being in this movie is to give exposition and explanation on the backstory of Ben Affleck's character. There are at least 2 5-minute segments in this movie where J.K. Simmons' character is just giving exposition and Ben Affleck's entire backstory and character motivation. That's the only reason J.K. Simmons' character is in this movie. Now, don't get me wrong, I enjoyed the exposition, it was entertaining for the most part, but it really came across like the only reason he was there was just to say, hey guys, Ben Affleck in 1989 did this, and in 1999 he did this, in 2002 he did this. And the one last thing I have to say about J.K. Simmons' character in this film is, he has a big storyline in this movie, but by the end of the movie, none of it really matters. Now, a few other negatives I have with the movie. There's a few convoluted storylines throughout the movie that get a little bit messy at times. It's not that you can't comprehend them, they just feel like they take longer than they should to advance. Like I said a few minutes ago, this movie felt like a comic book movie hidden and camouflaged in a normal movie, and I really enjoyed that. I mean, shit, the main character even has a hideout in this movie, and I gotta give it to Ben Affleck. He was a badass when he had to be a badass, but he was also a man with high-functioning autism. Whenever his character's not kicking ass and shooting sniper rifles, he's just a normal dude, and when he's in social environments, he does have a socially awkward vibe to him, and it's very subtle, and I liked that. To sum it up, this is a really cool action movie with substance and depth and characters that are interesting, so I'm gonna give The Accountant, an A-. That's my take on The Accountant. Now here's my question to you guys, and let me know down below. What'd you guys think about the movie? Or who is your favorite badass character from a movie? But a slightly realistic one. Like, you can't pick Superman. You gotta pick somebody who actually does real life things that doesn't have superpowers. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and make sure you subscribe. That way, I can see you next time.